Moonshiners EXCLUSIV. Making a copper-lined mash barrel with Tickle and Tim by the crackling fire deep in the backwoods of Appalachia. The morning fog rises over a hidden still site. Birds chirp, a dog barks somewhere in the holler, and two familiar figures, Tickle and Tim Smith, stand beside a pickup truck loaded with copper sheet, tools, and a whole lot of know-how. Tickle: "All right, y'all, what we're building today ain't just any old mash barrel. We're gonna show ya how to make a copper-lined mash barrel, the kind that keeps your mash clean, boosts your flavor, and makes your whiskey shine like the 4th of July. Tim: "Now listen, a lot of folks think you gotta spend a fortune to get copper in your mash, but we're gonna do it the backwoods way, affordable, durable, and built with the kind of care passed down from generation to generation. STE1. Picking your barrel, Tim. First things first, you need a good base. We're using a 55-gallon open-head food-grade plastic barrel. Make sure it's clean, never held anything toxic. A used pickle barrel? That'll work, but be ready for a little tang in your mash." Tickle, laughing: "A lil dill moonshine never hurt nobody. But yeah, get a clean one, food safe. We cleaned ours out with hot water, vinegar, and a scrub brush just to be sure. STE2. Sourcing the copper, Tim. You want real copper, not no fake blend. We're using 16-gauge copper sheet. About 5 feet by 3 feet should do for a full liner, depending on how you cut it. Tickle: "If you're tight on cash, check scrapyards, HVAC shops, or even ask around construction sites. Just be sure it's solid copper. You don't want no zinc or aluminum contaminant in your mash." Tip from Tim: avoid soldered joints and lead contamination. Stick with food-grade copper if possible. Step 3. Shaping the copper lineticle. This part takes patience and a buddy. We're cutting the copper into panels that'll line the inside walls of the barrel. Each panel's about a foot wide, curved just enough to match the barrel wall. Tim, marking copper with a Sharpie. Lay it out flat. Use tin snips to cut the copper into strips. Then we shape 'em over an old whiskey barrel to get that curve. You can use a propane tank too. Just make sure it's empty and clean." He two work together, shaping the copper over the rounded surface, tapping gently with rubber mallets. Tickle: "This ain't just arts and crafts. You're making something that'll last. Take your time." STP4. Fitting the copper inside Tim. Once your panels are shaped, it's time to line the barrel. We're starting from the bottom and working our way up. Tickle: "We lay a circular piece of copper in the base. Cut it just a bit smaller than the inside diameter so it lays flat. Then we start setting the wall panels around it, overlapping them slightly like shingles on a roof. Tim, as he drills small pilot holes through copper and plastic. We're using stainless steel rivets to hold it in place. Copper on the inside, rivet through the barrel wall, washer and nut on the outside. That way there's no exposed steel touching your mash. Pro tip: use silicone food-grade sealant behind the copper to prevent leaks and corrosion. Let it cure fully before use. Step 5. Sealing the edge tickle. You don't want your mash leaking into the plastic behind the copper. So we run a bead of that food-safe silicone along all the seams, especially the bottom edge where the wall meets the base. Tim: double seal it if you want to be safe. You can also lay down copper tape along the seams. Not required, but it sure makes it look pretty. STP6. Installing a drain valve, Tim. You'll thank yourself later for this one. We're installing a stainless steel bowl valve at the bottom so we can drain spent mash without flipping the whole barrel. Tickle: grinning. Unless you like wrestling a 300-pound barrel full of sour corn sludge. They drill a hole near the base, insert the valve through both the barrel and the copper liner, seal it tight with washers and a gasket. Step ACVN. Cleaning and testing Tim. Before you run any mash, you gotta clean this thing out. We rinse it with boiling water and vinegar, real hot, just to get any grime, oils, or fingerprints off. Tickle. Then we fill it up with plain water and let it sit overnight. Look for leaks. Make sure your seals hold. If you see a drop of water outside, fix it before it's moonshine in there. TE science behind EGES a shiny Tim. So why copper? It ain't just for show. Copper reacts with sulfur compounds that come from fermentation, gets rid of them, and gives you cleaner, smoother shine. Tickle. Also helps regulate heat if you're heating your mash for cooking. But the biggest thing, it makes that shine taste right. That old school Appalachian clean. Tim. It's the reason we don't use aluminum or just plain plastic. Flavor matters. And if you want your shine to stand out, copper's the way to go. INAL Thortis Efraham Ye AHOLLA article. There you have it. One copper-lined mash sweat and a little hillbilly ingenuity. Tim. Now, this ain't legal advice. We're just showing y'all the craftsmanship. Remember to follow all local laws. Distilling without a license is illegal, so make sure you're in the clear before you fire up the still. Tickle. But if you're making legal spirits, or even just ferments like beer or sour mash for cooking, this barrel will serve ya for years. Tim. Lifting the barrel onto a hand truck. Time to put this baby to work. Next up, we'll show y'all how to make a high-yield sweet feed mash. Tickle? Ooh boy. That one'll put hair on your chest. Or burn it off, depending on how strong ya make it. The camera pans wide as the sun dips behind the trees. The smell of fresh mash fills the air. Tickle wipes his brow. Tim lights a cigar, and the two stand over their handiwork like proud mountain craftsmen. Tim. It ain't always easy, but the good stuff never is. Tickle. And if it was easy, they'd sell it at Walmart. Fade to black. Moonshiners' logo rises from the shadows, backed by the hiss of a still coil and the distant hoot of an owl. Scene opens with a foggy Appalachian morning, birds chirping, and the low rumble of a pickup truck easing down a gravel road. The camera pans to reveal Tickle, in his usual flannel and wide grin, and Tim Smith, arms crossed, standing next to a weathered barn. Tickle. All right, y'all, we got something real special today. We're gonna show ye how to build a copper-lined mash barrel that'll take your shine from good to Grandpappy's pride. Tim. This here's old school craft meets backwoods ingenuity. Copper is king in the world of moonshine, and we're about to show you why. Chapter 1. The barrel basic stim. First, let's talk about your base. You want a good solid mash barrel. We're using a 55-gallon food-grade plastic barrel. Got this one from a guy over in Buchanan County. Used to hold molasses. Tickle, grinning. Smelled like Grandma's biscuits when we opened it up. What you'll need. Tim. Now make sure that barrel's clean. Vinegar, hot water, elbow grease. Get all the gunk out. Tickle, sniffing the barrel. Unless you want your shine tasting like barbecue sauce and mystery funk. Chapter 2. Why Copper Tim? You can ask any real moonshiner. Copper makes the difference. It pulls sulfur out of your mash, gives you that clean, smooth taste. It's like the difference between a cheap beer and a cold glass of Granddad's homebrew. Tickle. Plus, it just looks pretty. I mean, look at it. Holds up a polished sheet of copper to the light. That's what moonshine dreams are made of. Chapter 3. Shaping the copper tickle. So here's where it gets tricky, but fun. We gotta shape this copper to fit the inside of that barrel. Think of it like wallpapering a giant pickle jar. Tim, we cut the copper sheet into strips, about 12 inches wide, tall enough to reach from the bottom to about 2 inches from the top. That way you get good coverage without messing with the lid. The two unroll a large sheet of copper and start measuring it on the tailgate. Tickle. Use them tin snips and wear gloves. Trust me, copper bites. Cue quick montage of cutting, shaping, and laughing as a strip of copper falls to the ground. Tim. To get that curve right, we're bending each strip over an old barrel. You can use a propane tank, even a tree trunk, long as it matches the inside curve of your mash barrel. Chapter 4. The copper lining, Tim. Now we're gonna line the bottom first. Cut a round disc from your copper sheet, just a bit smaller than the base of your barrel. Tickle. It's like making a big old pizza, except this pizza makes whiskey. They gently lower the disc into the barrel, Tim. Use that food-safe silicone underneath it. Press it down and let it cure. You don't want any mash slipping underneath. Then we start setting in the wall panels, overlapping like fish scales. Tickle, drilling into the side of the barrel. We're riveting each piece into place. Drill through the copper and the barrel wall. Use a washer and stainless nut on the outside. That way it stays tight and food safe. Chapter 5. Sealing the deal, Tim. Once your copper's all in place, go back through and seal every seam with food-grade silicone. Every corner, every overlap, especially where the walls meet the floor. Tickle. This ain't just about leaks. It's about protecting your mash from bacteria, mold, and critters. Tim. I've seen a squirrel get in a mash barrel once. Ruined 15 gallons. He was drunk as a preacher on payday. Tickle, nodding sullenly. He died happy. Chapter 6. Adding the drain valve. Tickle. Now this part's what separates the rookies from the pros. You want a drain valve. Trust me. Otherwise you'll be tipping 300 pounds of mash and cussing up a storm. They drill a hole near the base, insert the stainless steel ball valve through both the plastic and the copper. Tim. We're using a gasket to seal it tight. Make sure that inside washer is copper safe. Don't let steel touch your mash.